Energy Conservation Day. We are fortunate to have a galaxy of renowned personalities today on the panel for the discussion on working together for a sustainable future for all. With this, I invite Dr. Kuratulan, WIE Affinity Group Advisor, for the welcome address. Over to you, ma'am.
Okay. I'm audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, yes.
Assalamu alaikum and a very good afternoon to all of you. I am Dr. Qoratulan, IEEE Student Branch Women in Engineering Affinity Group Advisor, AMU Aligarh. I welcome you all in this session which organized by IEEE Student Branch on the occasion of National Energy Conservation Day. So today we have Professor M.M. Sufyan Beg sir, Principal Zakir Hussain College of Engineering and Technology, AMU. I welcome you, sir, in today's session. Thank you so much, sir, for giving us time from your busy schedule. Sir, your presence is a great source of motivation for our whole team. We also have with us Professor M.S. Jameel Asgar sir, Coordinator, Center of Renewable Energy, Electrical Engineering Department, AMU Aligarh. I welcome you, sir, in this session and thank you, sir, for your continuous support. Now, I would like to welcome Professor Ashish Kumar, immediate past chair, IEEE UP section. Sir, we extremely honored to have eminent personality like you today with us. Thank you, sir, for accepting our invitation. Now, I would like to welcome Professor Jyotsana, Director, Center of Renewable Energy, Lucknow University. Ma'am, your presence is a great source of motivation and thank you for accepting our invitation. I also welcome our IEEE Student Branch Counselor, Mr. Zaid, and IEEE Site Coordinator, Dr. Muhammad Tariq. Without your support, we wouldn't be able to stand here today. It was continuous support which encouraged all the students. And lastly, I also welcome all my professor, colleagues, and students in this session. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us today. Thank you so much. What do I hear?
Thank you so much, ma'am, for such a warm welcome note. Now, I request Professor Jyotsna Singh, ma'am, to kindly address our audience on this great occasion.
Thank you. Thanks a lot. Before I start, I will like to thanks Professor Muhammad Tariq for inviting me on such a well-versed occasion, which is really relevant for the day. And very good afternoon to all of you. So, as we know that the topic of the session is Save Today and Survive Tomorrow. I will rather say that live today, save the assets, and then survive tomorrow too. So I have a bit different approach for this. So let's start. If we are talking about survival of tomorrow, that means we are talking about sustainability, and sustainability is one point, and sustainability with the development is another point. We can sustain ourselves in the present scenario, and keeping this scenario intact, we can survive for next coming 50 years. But what we actually want to do, we want to survive today, save the assets for the future, and keep the progress on so that we can have a sustainable development. So when we are talking about the sustainable development, the main thing is the energy, because energy holds the power. As we all know that whatsoever power we can feel, that is all due to the energy. So energy holds the power to derive economic development and accelerate social progress. So this is a statement. I can say that to define energy, I don't have any words. because everything that is surrounding us, that is going on, is energy, either energy or mass. That is what physics knows. So if there is any loss of the energy, it is going to be converted into mass. If there is any loss of mass, it is going to be converted into energy. So that is all. And so if we want a sustainable development, that means we want energy for that sustainable development, but not on the cost of the future. Future stakes, we don't want to use it today. We want to protect it for the future. So now how to do this? So that means we want energy from a source that is really sustainable and renewable. That means now this is the best time when we have to switch over from the conventional to the non-conventional form of energy, that is the renewable energy. So lot of efforts have been going on. Like the first legal effort that was there was in 2015 Paris conference, where actually number of things were given. 196 countries were there, and lot many responsibilities were given to lot many countries. But look at this point, that why we are saying that sustainable development with the energy, with the renewable energy, that is okay, but we cannot develop in an isolation. That means if we want a development, we want a development of the whole world. So if we want a development of the whole world, that means we want all of us to set certain aims, certain goals, and then we will reach that goal, so that the whole of the world is progressing towards the sustainable development. So lot many goals were set in that particular summit, and India said that he is going to give 175 gigawatt of energy production by 2022, and we can say that 100 gigawatt till now we have produced. 75 gigawatts still pending, but in near future we will be able to produce that. So, and in the recent Glasgow conference, there was a very nice statement that was that we are progressing towards no carbon zone. So that means what we can do for the sustainable development, we can switch over to the renewable energy. First thing is that. The another thing is that we can produce carbon sinks. That means we can do a rigorous plantation, so that they can actually work as a carbon sink, and they can use the carbon whatsoever is emitted in different processes. And that carbon sinks are actually renewable energy is one part. Yes, I agree. But carbon sinks are also equally important, because if they are not there, so we cannot. This is not a magic that we will just switch over from conventional to non-conventional. No, this we cannot do. So that means if there is an emission of certain greenhouse gases, we must think of certain immediate remedies, so that that greenhouse emission cannot cause much of the harm to the society, much of the harm to the global environment. So with this particular note, let's think in totality, not in isolations. First of all, we have to come together in order to achieve these goals, so that whatsoever was decided in a summit, that was to keep the global temperature at 2 degrees Celsius or below 1.5 degree. So for that, we have to work very hard to stop the emissions. And if we stop the emissions, that means we have to switch over to the energy, but no magic can be done. So switching of energy is actually a process which is taking on. So we must go for a rigorous plantation also. So with this particular thing, and one more thing I want to address, that sustainable energy is very good. And when we talk about the renewable energy, that is also very good. But when we talk about the renewable energy, the most of the chunk is taken away by the solar energy. And we can see that in our solar energy mission, the 100 gigawatt is assigned to the solar. So that means solar is taking the main chunk of the energy. But how we are producing that solar energy? By installing solar PV panels. And what about those solar PV panels after 25 years? So is that energy which is green now will remain green after 25 years? So for that, I really keep this point to the students that please go for the green energy, go for the sustainable energy, go for the sustainable development, but we have to think for the future in terms of the waste that these PV modules are going to produce. So how we can recycle those PV modules, how we are going to manage those waste, that is a very important point to be addressed right now. So with this note, I really stop my voice and thank you to everyone for listening to me patiently.
Thank you so much, ma'am,
Yeah.
for such great words and motivating us towards the sustainability pledge.
Thank you.
With this, I welcome our principal, Professor Sufyan Beg, sir. He has joined us now. Sir, I request you to please enlighten the audience with your words of wisdom.
Assalamu alaikum, good afternoon, all the distinguished guests and students. It is definitely a matter of rejoice and pride for all of us that we have started thinking for the conservation of energy, something which is long due and we should have been doing for a long time. But it is never too late. The sooner we start it, the better. And before we talk about green energy, the first and the foremost thing that we have to do is to conserve the energy, because that is the best thing that we can do. I quite often say that as engineers, we overdo things. There were times when polythene and plastic has just come in, and we overused it to so much extent that we are crying over all the trash that we have produced out of the polythene. So let us not overdo things. Before trying and looking for the sources for alternate sources for energy, we should try to conserve the energy in the first place. Nature and God has provided us ample light in the form of sunlight. So let us make the most of it during the daytime. Storage for the night time comes next. We are running in a race for installing solar panels everywhere. In fact, I've got a rooftop solar panel at my home also, which is like 5 kilowatt, a little more than 5 kilowatt. But I was just wondering, what will happen 25 years, 30 years down the line when all these panels will have to be discarded? What will happen to the environment then? This is something that we have to foresee. All our requirements we have to project and we have to foresee in order to save us from all the hazards that might arise out of doing things and overdoing things. That is something that we have to foresee. Alternate sources of energy, yes, definitely. We should harness them, but also in a controlled way. I say that, overdose of everything is bad. Everything is bad. So why not we try to conserve the energy in the first place? People, they had been living 100 years back. They didn't have that much electrical power available to them, but they were still surviving. So why can't we put our air conditioner down by a degree or two? Why can't we put off a bulb or two at our homes? Why don't we, it looks kind of making a mockery of the nature. On one side, we put the fans on the other side, we put up the blanket on ourselves. Why are we making a mockery of the nature? If we are really feeling the heat, we shouldn't be put the blankets on. And that is what we do with the air conditioners also. We put the air conditioners to a very cold temperature, and then we put a blanket and then we sleep. So this is all the spoiled habits that we have developed over the period. People, they are talking about e-waste now. So let us look into the e-waste before it becomes too late. People are talking about green computing. You see, in a room, we have got so many electronic devices working in tandem, and they are generating heat, and then we are putting the AC on to cool them down. So basically, we are doing as stupid a thing as those four friends who bought a car. The car didn't start. So two of them were pushing it from back and two of them were pushing it from the front. The whole day they kept pushing. Their energies were being cancelled out. The car didn't move an inch. So we're doing the same stupid thing. Despite the fact that we are professionals, we are engineers, we have to be more responsible. We have to be a responsible citizen and we have to be a responsible human being. Don't think that we have ample water here, we have ample energy here, so we are good. If we are overusing water, if we use overusing energy, we are eating the share of somebody somewhere else in the world. So we have to be very conscious and we have to be very miser in using energy. I think if we use that word miser, that's not an inappropriate word when we use it in the context of energy. So we have to behave in a responsible way, like a professional, like an engineer who foresees things and prepares themselves in advance. So that is the message from my side on the celebration of the Energy Conservation Day. We call it Energy Conservation Day. We don't call it, Energy Generation Day using alternate resources or whatever. So that is my message to the young students. All of us have to be responsible. Otherwise, our future generations are going to curse us for all the energy that we have used from their share. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity, for sharing my views and thoughts on it. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. We are highly honored to have you here with us. We are highly moved by your thoughts. Moving ahead, I take extreme honor in welcoming Professor Ashish Kumar, former chair IEEE UP section. Sir, I request you to kindly share your valuable thoughts. Over to you, Ashish, sir.
You are muted, sir. Professor Ashish Kumar, you are muted.
Am I audible, sir?
Yeah, you're audible
Yes,
now.
now.
Although your video has gone,
Oh,
but you're audible now.
actually, I was using my camera only for this both purposes. I think something is there.
No problem. No problem. Go ahead. Whatever is convenient for you. Please
Yeah.
go ahead.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity. And I'm very thankful to the organizers at AMU and especially Dr. Muhammad Tariq, who has organized this function on this National Energy Conservation Day under the leadership of Principal Saab and other dignitaries of the institution. So, Honorable Principal Saab, Dr. Jyotna Singh ji, Professor Jamil Saab, Dr. Tariq, and my dear friends at AMU. We are simply celebrating this National Energy Conservation Day today in context of this working together for a sustainable future for all. Basically, we are electrical engineers. Most of us who are here, we are not limited to being this electricity only. What we are going to talk about, that is about the total energy. And energy, when we talk about the term energy, this is a big spectrum actually, a big canvas which covers several sort of different types of energies which can be transformed from one form to other. So among these, electrical energy is considered as the most common and most clean to use for wide type of uses globally. But this subject of energy conservation is a matter of concern for every energy user. And this energy conservation becomes even more critical when energy costs, they are rising day by day in the new world, and the use of this efficient energy apparatus is of significant concern to both the industry and the utility. So we shall be very particular about the knowing the things, what is energy conservation. As the principal sir has highlighted, that we are not celebrating it as the energy generation day from renewable energies or any other alternative sources. We are talking about this energy conservation. So we must identify what is special with this word energy conservation in comparison to other words such as energy efficiency, etc., which we use in reference in the common references, yeah, almost common references. So this conservation of energy is a big necessity for the future and the present. And this National Conservation Day focuses on making people aware of global warming and climate change, as the first speaker said. And she said that we shall promote our efforts towards saving energy resources. And she also highlighted on this sustainable use of energy resources. So I will come back to this energy conservation. Energy conservation is basically the decision and practice of using less energy. And it should be a habit of everyone, for this sustainable world. Apart from raising awareness of the importance of energy conservation, it is also essential to raise awareness of resources and the importance of energy itself. This energy conservation is basically an act of saving energy by reducing a service. In other words, to conserve energy, you need to cut back on your uses. And what are the examples for that? Examples are turning off the light when you leave the room, unplug appliances when they are not in use, walking instead of driving either on four-wheeler or two-wheeler, turning your thermostat down a degree or two in the winter time, similarly in the summers for air conditioner also, and unplug your computer or home appliances when they are not in use. You will see that in all of these examples, you are reducing the amount of energy you use by doing without or making do with less fuel, electricity, or whatever energy source is there. Energy conservation might cut down your comfort level. It may make things a bit less convenient for you, but it can help reduce monthly heating and electricity bills, and it saves money for your petrol and gasoline expenditures. So thus energy conservation is an effective way to lower overall energy consumption, and the same can be said for the improved energy efficiency. However, these two terms, conservation and efficiency, they do not mean the same thing. Energy efficiency is defined as saving energy, but keeping the same level of service. For example, if you turn off the lights when you leave a room, you are practicing energy conservation. If you replace an inefficient incandescent light bulb with a more efficient CFL or LED bulb, you are practicing energy efficiency. You can keep these terms straight by thinking of energy conservation as cutting back and energy efficiency as using energy more effectively by using those appliances which are consuming lesser electricity but for the similar type of service, similar quality of service. So in this way, this energy efficiency uses advances in science and technology to provide services and products that require the use of less energy. So this is the basic difference between this energy conservation and energy efficiency improvement. You can also use this efficiency improvement, similar thing, by using this better insulation in those houses which you are heating just to avoid the cold climate of outside. So these are the few examples which differentiate between these two terms. But in present scenario, there are various ways which shall be used to use this to make these buildings more energy efficient. One of them is the use of hybrid energy system as an alternative approach. By using a hybrid energy system with proper scheduling of its components, the energy uses in buildings can be reduced and the energy cost can also be saved. Proper sizing of a hybrid system and its scheduling can be conducted by optimizations. Also, these buildings can have a different circuit of lighting with the demand response control panel boards to reduce peak load by dimming the light. Another very technical term is that we have heard of these terms energy models, right? So these energy models, they are often built to estimate a building's energy use during the designing of the building, but the building's actual energy performance is often not analyzed following the completion of the construction. So a baseline performance shall also be monitored or targeted to achieve the goals, and time to time this monitoring for this energy conservation practices shall be validated by taking timely measurements for the energy uses in these newly established buildings, or any older building also in which you are planning to have this you plan to establish this energy conservations. So in this way, this combined energy approach or hybrid energy approach with energy storage, demand response, and energy demand performance verification can achieve the goal of building energy efficiency, which may further lead to energy conservation also. Additionally, in Indian scenario, this Bureau of Energy Efficiency certification, they do a lot of things for this energy conservation. They have this Energy Conservation Act and several practices they publish time to time for us to follow for this better energy conservation, which may further lead to energy efficiency. And this use of renewable energy is also a good step towards the final goal of energy sustainability and energy independence. So I think I have covered this basic theme with all these keywords for your kind information. If you have any question, we can take it later. So that's all from my side. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Ashish sir. We are greatly moved by your thoughts on energy conservation. So your presence is a great source of motivation for all of us. Moving to the next panelist, I would like to invite one of our department's eminent professor, Professor M.S. Jamil Asghar sir. Sir, I humbly request you to please address the audience with your words of great wisdom.
Thank you very much for inviting me for this talk. And Assalamu alaikum and good morning to everyone. And I want to congratulate Dr. Muhammad Tariq and his team of IEEE students, student section. So just I want to show few slides and thereafter I want to discuss it. Am I audible? You are able to see it?
Yes, sir, you're audible and visible
Okay.
as well.
Okay. Thank you very much. So just I'm coming to straight to the topic that energy related to Energy Conservation Day. We can save the energy uh, by reduction of consumption, as well as we can save uh, limited stock of fossil fuel by harnessing renewable energy. So in this way also we can save we can reduce the pollution, and we can save uh, this planet Earth. So we know there are different types of energy consumptions: residential, commercial, industrial, as well as transport and agriculture. Residential consumption, it depends, it varies from 20% to almost 40%, depending upon whether it is underdeveloped countries or developed countries. And similarly, commercial uh, power consumption also varies. Now, industrial also varies over a wide range. For example, it is a industrial country, or whether it is agriculture based country. For example, almost 60% power is consumed in the industry in China. Nowadays, the fourth point is very important. Electric vehicles are coming. So in the transport, this share is going to increase. So these are basic uh, uh, types of power consumption. And we have to see how we can reduce these consumptions. So, for example, we can reduce the residential energy consumption. Now, one source of energy consumption is that is based on the fossil fuel or LPG or fuel gas, and another one is electric power, which is used for the residential as well as industrial applications. Now, one advantage of electrical power is there that no pollution is there at the site. The electric power is developed somewhere, generated somewhere, which is normally far from the urban area, and it is consumed at a place where the pollution is not developed by the consumption. So this is one of the advantage. Many advantages are there for electrical use of electrical power. Efficiency is very high and many more things. So now the residential electrical loads, this of the total consumption, there is significant share of the residential electrical loads. And some types of load, for example, lighting, it is also one of the part of industrial load. So these are important domestic loads: lighting, fan, and room coolers. And sometimes we say it is desert cooler, refrigerators, and air conditioners. Now we know the old general lighting service lamp. So it was consuming enormous energy, and the efficiency was very low, almost about uh, 10 to 12 lumens per watt. And some improvement is there with the mercury vapor tube light. So the old type, choke type, choke blast type, where the blast was choke. So in that case, power consumption was about 50, but VA was very high, about 100 VA, due to low power factor. Power factor was about 0.5. Now there is an improvement with mercury vapor tube with electronic ballast or CFL. So for the same lumen output of 20 watt GLS lamp, the power consumption is about 40 watt. Now LED tube lights are now available, which for the same lumen output, the power consumption is about 20 watt. Now, some companies, they are manufacturing, for example, Pinaya Opto Electric Company of Calcutta. So they are manufacturing highly efficient LED tube light or LED strip, and the power consumption is 12 watt. So in this way, we can save substantial power and we can conserve the energy. We can reduce the power loss with the help of by replacing the GLS lamp or as well as mercury vapor lamp or even the high intensity discharge lamp, which were used for the street lighting or flood lighting. So we can reduce and replace the reduce the power consumption, and we can replace it with the LED tube lights. Similarly, now the another source of another type of load or domestic load or residential load is the ceiling fans. Millions of ceiling fans are being used in India, for example. And this is for the sake of comparison, that's 56 inch size or 1400 mm size ceiling fan. It consumes about 100 watt, and the efficient type conventional induction motor based. These ceiling fans are induction motor based fans, and it consumes about 75 watt, and its cost is slightly higher. But now brushless DC motor based fans are available. AC is converted into DC, and DC is again converted into three-phase AC to run three-phase permanent magnet synchronous motor. So in that case, the power loss has reduced substantially. It is about 40 watt. Similarly, refrigerators are also available. The convention of our refrigerator, where the on-off type of control was used with the single-phase induction motor in cup pressure. So the medium type refrigerator was consuming about 300 watt. Now, if it is replaced by a brushless DC motor, and which operates on the continuous basis, so the mechanical efficiency of cooling improves if the heating is done continuously. So apart from improvement in electrical efficiency of the motor, the mechanical efficiency of cooling also improves, and almost half efficiency losses are reduced by half, and the efficiency is high. Different types of 5-star, 3-star, 5-star refrigerators are available in the market. Similarly, air conditioners are there, 1.5 ton size. If on-off type is used, it consumes almost 1800 VA or watt. But similarly, 1 ton size, it consumes about 1200 VA. But if it is reduced, if it is replaced by brushless DC motor type system, where continuous speed control method is used for the cooling, so the saving is drastic. Instead of 1800 watt, it is consuming only 1200 watt. Air conditioner is consuming also 1200 watt. So we have to make people aware of this efficiency and saving of the power, because they can perhaps in general the people, they don't bother about the consumption or conservation. They bother about the tariff, how much they have to pay, and what would be their saving if they adopt, for example, brushless type DC motor, type air conditioner. What would be the advantage? How much will be saving per month? Similarly, if they adopt ceiling fans, brushless DC motor based ceiling fan, so what would be saving per year? What would be saving, and what would be the life? For example, life of LED lamps are enormous. It varies from 2400 to 100,000 1 lakh hours. Contrary to that, the life of GLS lamp bulb filament incandescent lamp is about, ideally it is 1000 hour, but practically the life of these bulbs available in the market is hardly 700 hours only. Life of LED is enormously high. So we have to make people aware of these advantages. And in this way, a substantial, as we have discussed earlier, that substantial power loss we can save without forcing the people or without convincing them to change their habit of using electric power, which would ultimately increase the pollution, and that is not good for the environment. So simply by reducing the home appliances and the gadgets, substantial power can be reduced. So what I wanted to say, that we have to make people aware of this, and they don't understand the technical term, good efficiency, new technology. They understand what would be the initial investment, what would be the saving, what would be the if wear and tear is there or maintenance is required, what would be the maintenance. So they understand these terms, so we can make them understood if we talk like this and in this term. If so for this purpose we can organize just like this. Similarly we can organize different programs even in the rural area or in the urban area, and we have to make people understand this the benefit of energy conservation and using of the new appliances with new technology which is uh, energy efficient. So in this way, and not only that, even in the industry substantial power is consumed in the for the commercial application as well as for the in the industry. So for example, air conditioning is done also there. Similarly, lighting is also used there. So in this way we can save electrical power and we can conserve the energy. Thank you very much for your patience and listening.
Thank you so much, Jamil sir, for sharing your precious thoughts. These are a treasure for all of us. With this, I invite Dr. Muhammad Tariq, Site Chair ZHCT, for the briefing of the site events and the kind proposal of vote of thanks for the session. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Mahina, and thank you all the panelists for their motivational talks. So, IEEE site at AMU was established on November 26, that is 26 November 2018. And since then, we are continuously working on the design and development of humanitarian technologies, leading towards sustainable development. At the time of establishment, we were given a seed money of 250 USD, and with this money, we had successfully completed 3 small projects which were done by our student members. These projects were based on smart agriculture system, like IoT-based smart agriculture system, power electronic converters for sustainable energy system, and solar PV systems. And we also presented our findings in IAS-sponsored conference named GUCON. And that paper is also extended, is being extended for IEEE transactions. And beside this, to mark the 10th year of establishment of IEEE site community, means at USA, because IEEE site was established 10 years before in USA. So this year we have completed 10 years. So we organized a research proposal presentation and submission competition where a student participated in teams of two and their novel ideas through research paper. So the theme was the theme for this event was like this. On the first day, we had a lecture by Dr. Noshad from the electronics department. He spoke on different aspects of how to write a better how to write a research paper. What are the different aspects? How to do literature survey? How to write the introduction? How to write the methodology section? How to present your results? So he spoke on everything, and including the ethics and similarity concept, like how we have to do the similarity and how we have to write in our own words. And so on the first day, we gave them the training, and then this event was open for next 3 days, in which we have formed the team, and they were continuously taking the guidance from the faculty members and their senior students. And after this event, they were asked to submit their research ideas in the form of IEEE conference template paper in the competition. And we had received approximately 20 ideas. And I take this chance and I take this opportunity of today's event to announce the winner as well. So we shortlisted 3 ideas, and we are also giving cash prizes to them, although it's not that much, but any prize is a prize. So the first prize of 1,000 rupees goes to Mr. Syed Majid Ashraf and Miss Zareen Firdaus. They both co-authored a paper titled Impact of COVID-19 on Sustainable Development Goals in India. So Syed Majid Ashraf and Miss Zareen Firdaus, are you available here?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So many congratulations to you, and you done a good job, and yeah. So thank you. And for the second prize, we have shortlisted 2 papers, and they were given 500 INR each. These 2 papers are: first paper, utilizing artificial intelligence to achieve UN Sustainable Development Goals in healthcare and wellness. This in India. This paper is authored by Mr. Muhammad Hamad and Mr. Abdul Rahman Khan. Are you present here?
Yes, sir, Abdurrahman Khan. Thank you, sir.
So many congratulations to you and to your teammate Muhammad Hamad.
Thank you, sir.
Second paper in the second prize, having 500 INR cash prize, is DLSIP, that means Deep Learning and Satellite Imagery Based Poverty Prediction. This paper is authored by Ms. Ifra Andali and Mr. B. Zahid Hussain. Are they present here?
Unfortunately, they have a Viva till 4 p.m. So, yeah, they are not present.
Okay, so I congratulate them, and maybe you can pass my message to them, Tayyaba. And on this occasion also, I want to congratulate my teammates, the whole IEEE student branch, and especially the IEEE site team, Tayyaba, Afifa, and Saad, and Abdul Rahman. They form the core IEEE site team. They are doing tremendous job. And beside this, we have also organized many events and discussion related in the area of sustainable development. And the theme of all our event is like this: like we call our senior student member, like who are in 3rd year or in 4th year, to engage the session for 1st year and 2nd year students. So this is how we groom our students. Like the students who are in 3rd year and 4th year, they can take the responsibility, because once they leave the college and they go to the industry or to the professional world, they have to own some responsibilities. So we try to groom them here itself, and they take the responsibilities very well, and they try to groom the 1st year and 2nd year students on the technologies related to the sustainable development. So with this, means there are many more to report for IEEE student branch and IEEE site, but since we are running short of time, so I with this I take this opportunity also to thank all the members who participated today in celebration of IEEE Energy, this National Energy Conservation Day, organized by IEEE site and Department of Electrical Engineering. And my special thanks to all the panelists who took out their precious time from their busy schedule. Professor Ashish Kumar Sahab from NIT Allahabad. He is a very distinguished professor and speaker. We are very thankful to you, sir. Dr. Josana ma'am, Director of our Center of Renewable and Energy and Research at Lucknow University. We are very thankful to you, ma'am, for taking out your precious time. Professor Sufyan Beg Sahab, he has another meeting at 3:30. We have an induction program scheduled for the first year. So he has another meeting, so he has left for that meeting. So we are very thankful to him also because he always motivates and he always say yes to our any initiatives. And Professor Jamil Asghar Sahab, he is a very senior professor and he is a mentor to us in true sense. And this I am sharing to all my student members that he was my project supervisor in BTech. So he is continuously mentoring us from our student life. So we are very thankful to you, sir, Professor Jamil, sir.
Thank you very much. Welcome.
And thank you all. And my colleague, Dr. Kuratulayan and Mr. Zaid, they are very supportive and they are very helpful throughout all the events which we organize in IEEE student branch. Thank you all. And with this, over to Mahina to say the final words before the closing of the session.
Thank you so much, Tariq sir, for the warm address and the vote of thanks. With this, we close today's session, and I thank everyone for joining us and supporting us in our greater cause path. Thank you so much.
Thank you.